Hi there and welcome to episode 2 of my Star Trek Workstation build. As you can see, I've made more progress today. One of the things that was really concerning me, if I could pull it off, would be this mesh grill. The whole thing is 3D printed. Almost the whole thing anyway, not the frame obviously. But there's 8 panels there. Each one's a square, it's like this big. About from here, here's the join, and there's the join here. So that's the size of each panel. There's 8 of those. Overall, I'm quite happy with the way they come out. The frame I'm using is actually just the thin rear panels from the drawers and the cupboards. This thin masonite material. That's what I've used here. It's not ideal, obviously aluminium frame, mosquito mesh frame, that kind of mosquito screen type frame. Obviously that would be better, but as much as possible I'm trying to recycle materials, especially at the moment with COVID-19 epidemic. I don't want to be out and about buying stuff. So I'm making do with what I've got, and overall I'm actually really happy with the way this has come out. It looks a little bit walkers the way it's sitting here, but overall it's actually very, very good. It's held in place with magnets. They're not particularly strong magnets, these ones, but a magnet on a magnet seems to be working okay. And you can see here, they're mounted right there. Sorry, my phone is struggling here to get some good video. But they're mounted in each corner, and they seem to hold quite well, especially with this extra reinforcement I put in. It all seems to hold into the front of the cupboard very, very well. So I'm actually really happy with that. I'm waiting to see, so I haven't actually fitted it much since I've done this, because I've had to continue on with the cabinet. As you can see the end here, it has bent a little bit, so I'm going to have to do some straightening out, maybe press it overnight or something like that. But it's come out really well. I'm actually really happy. In the end, it's not something that you're going to be looking at all the time. It's underneath the bench, but it will draw the eye, especially when you're standing away from it. So I do want it to look quite rather nice anyway. For the cabinet, you can see underneath all of this material I've got here as weight. You can see the bench top. So this is I've attached this piece on Thursday. I had some time, so I sorted that one out on Thursday, but today I went and added the second piece, which will stick out at the front. So that's actually screwed from underneath with 4 metal plates and glued along the side. I don't have any fancy tools, like I don't have a bench router for cutting a groove and all of that kind of stuff. And this material, because it's segmented, you can see the scissor type joint here, the tooth joint, whatever you call it. So the pieces are quite short, and they're only this wide. This is not, I'm not putting a plywood surface on, I'm using this stuff recycled from the local gym that closed down. It's very similar colour to the tabletops in the TV shows. So I'm happy with this as it is. I'm not going to change it. So I didn't want this stuff. I mean, I do have the old Stanley number 55, I think it is. Hang on. Here it is, number 50. There it is. I do have this, but it doesn't work well on this particular composite material. So I just butted it up. I haven't cut any joints, just used the metal plates under it. So the join will be about here. So there's still about 3 inches of cabinet that the front section will be covering, and I'll put an angle plate inside on each end to help hold it. I'm only screwing down up to here because that's on top of the bench. There'll be a shroud covering the monitor, again to dress it up to make it look more Star Trek-y. As you can see, I've given it a rough undercoat of paint. I say rough because this stuff here, because it's got that printed veneer of whatever material it is on it, and it really doesn't paint up very well on the first coat. So I'm sure it'll look better on the second coat, but in any case, most of this is out of sight because there'll be another cabinet butting up against this, and inside, I mean obviously it's inside, so I'm not so concerned. Painted the back, of course. I haven't painted the front yet. I need to do some filling and repair on the front because it is old plywood that I'm using after all. Overall, it's coming out quite nice. I'm quite happy with the result. I just got to get in and do some more painting. I haven't bought the grey paint yet, and I'm only going to paint what's visible. I'm not going to worry about painting the sides and the back because it's never going to be seen unless it's dismantled at some point in the future. So I'm just going to paint what's visible. What I will do, however, just to dress it up a bit, in things like the Jeffries tubes on the Enterprise, there is this all these different components that are put in there, and some of them are painted this orangey red colour. Now, although I don't think they did that underneath the consoles on the bridge of the Enterprise sets, I'm going to do that inside anyway, just to bring a little bit more of that red in. I'll probably just use a red spray paint. It doesn't have to be exact colour. Again, I'm not going for screen accuracy here. I just want a practical and enjoyable product. And so when I put the motherboard in here and the hard drive and all of that on that back wall, which I will reinforce from behind where as needed, I'm going to put the scrap sheets of the underlays, that the 3D printer uses, right? The rafting. I got heaps of rafting from printing this thing and other things. So I'm going to use the rafting first against the back panel and then put all the mounting brackets and what have you on top of that. But all of that I'll spray paint it red, reddish orange, orangey red, whatever it might be, whatever paint I can find. And that should colour up the interior nicely, I think. So I don't want to go over the top with it, but I do want it to be enjoyable. Anyway, that's it for episode 2. I've enjoyed today's work, especially that mesh panel. I'm really happy with the way that's come out. And the fact that I could use such simple materials for the framing and make it work as well as it is working. And I'll show you that in the next video, because at the moment, obviously, I've got wet paint. Anyway, I'll see you next time. Bye.